Hey guys, welcome back. Robocraft Early Access coverage. This is episode 79. I'm Igneous, and today, for the first time ever, the Pretty Hate Machine Mk.II in action. That's right, it's finally time to do some match footage in our revamped plasma hover. This thing is a beast. It is just a savage beast. I couldn't be happier with the way it's been performing, all things considered. It's big, it's heavy, its maximum hover height is still not high enough for a lot of bots to fit underneath it. I go around max altitude all the time because there's not much difference between max altitude and lowering down to the point where the chassis is touching the ground. Now, we're playing the tier 10 plus 1 megabot kind of game, whether we want to or not. I actually got a match, believe it or not. I got a match without any megabots. I was so happy. It was fantastic. I was so excited. It didn't go beyond that one single match. So the megabot that I'm following seems to be fairly well built. Like, it was obvious that someone has put some thought into designing the bot in such a way that it will actually be able to contribute something meaningful to the match as a megabot, as opposed to the ones that we've all been seeing that are made out of tier 0 cubes and glass cubes and all these other things that people trying to make the bot look big and impressive, and they're just paper. Paper mache against a shotgun. It's not going to work out. So I was just trying to follow our megabot and help him, and he's just, there's a point strategically where you have to stop and pay attention to what's going on around you, and this guy just derped right through the whole mess of it. He went right down, through, and then under. He had bots flanking him, he had bots following him. He's like, I'm megabot, I don't care. Left the rest of the little bots in an awfully bad position when we're trying to get around to follow them, and we have to make the decision of either letting all these guys follow us and destroy us on the way up the hill, or stop and fight them without our megabot. Not the ideal situation. I in the back of my mind, I'm keeping this kind of thing. I don't want every video to be a soapbox for me to rant about megabots in tier 10, but at the same time, what can you do? That was me getting stuck on a rock and basically lifting up the part of my bot that was the fastest route to my pilot seat, and paying for it. So, a little bit of user error on my part. Doesn't happen often with this bot. There's so many blocks, and there's no electroplates, and it's just all blocks, and it's all tier 10 blocks. You can hear it bouncing along the ground because it's just so heavy. There are times going up hills, especially, where even though you try and lift the bot, it's just like, nope, we're staying down here. So here we're doing a little bit of anti-flank kind of thing. We're poking up and kind of advancing forward cautiously, watching to see what kind of enemies we might spot, so that we can paint a picture for the rest of our team. What's going on? Where's the enemy? Where are they concentrated? Are they, just a couple of stragglers coming this way, or is there a big blob of them in this direction? That's what we can do, with the idea in mind that it's cautious. We're not just riding up until we see somebody, because that's how you often get ballooned early in a match. And then, having made the decision as we went up through that we probably missed all of the enemies, now's an opportunity for us to come around and flank them from behind and kind of sow a little, discord in the ranks, get them kind of wondering where they should be focusing their attention. If the rest of our team was actually on point and advancing towards the enemy and doing something useful, instead of sitting in our base like a bunch of numpties, this probably could have worked. Probably could have been very effective and very helpful. But as it is, I advance up behind the enemy, and they've got no one to shoot at but me. So this guy, he's the walker. He's like, ha ha ha, plasma, I'm going to shoot you and kill you. And I'm thinking, ha ha, Pretty Hate Machine Mk.II, no you're not. That was the end of him. Pretty gratifying, all things considered, because the rest of the match basically goes to shit from this point onwards. And there's not much. You can still see guys, hanging out down in the south side of the map where we spawned, making a mess of things instead of contributing. It's just not. It's not kosher. There's no reason for that. I was reading in the forums the other day, again, someone else saying that they have to do things a certain way, otherwise no one's left in the base defending. I'm like, who the hell told you you're supposed to be defenders in the base? That's not how we do things around here. You move up with your team on the push, and if you have to defend, you go back to defend. You don't sit there waiting for the enemy to come to you, because the enemy now is all around their base, and they're clustered there in numbers picking us off, and we've got a couple guys in the southwest corner doing absolutely nothing, waiting for something to come to them. Gee, we could have probably used them up front here and actually made something of a mess of these enemy bots, who are apparently just, you know, medics with Tesla coils these days. That's the new OP. Clusters of medics with Tesla coils, and there's a railgun. He's shooting and shooting and shooting, and he just keeps shooting and shooting some more. Can't blame him. That's, as a railgunner, that's really all you can do sometimes. But now we're kind of up on the front. Most of the team has been destroyed. There's not much that we can do. We've still got those guys down in the southwest corner, not doing anything constructive. The game is basically about goofing around and surviving as long as you can without running off somewhere to hide where no one gets a chance to shoot at you, because that's no fun for anybody. Running off to hide and dragging out the match, that's not nice. That's not a good way to do things. But I noticed that they were trying to cap, so we kind of break this guy out of there for a second. My guns are gone. Too many bots chasing after me. Nobody to support. It happens, and that there are matches where you have great wins because that thing happens on the other team. It's just, it always seems like it's on your team, right? It never the other team. So the ice map, not one of my favorites. And again, not because it's poorly designed, it's just because I don't really like it. But I'm kind of, you know, trying to keep an eye on where everyone is going and why. You know, check to make sure if there's a megabot, I'm aware that there's a megabot, and I'm aware that, you know, it's going in a certain direction. This is one of those bots. Looking at the back of it, you're trying to figure out what tier of blocks he used to make the bot. And it took me a little while, but I think they're actually mostly tier 9 cubes and such, because I was trying to figure out what, of all people, to not be able to recognize what purple blocks are. You know, but, you know, he's kind of pushing forward, and I'm seeing all kinds of different colors in there. Not the kind of build that I would do, but it's his bot. He can do what he wants. That's okay. He's got... The thing I don't necessarily understand is putting a bunch of electroplates on the top. That's great if the only thing shooting at you is bombers, but wouldn't they be better off on the front in situations like this, where it's just all hell coming at you from the front? It'd probably be better. Put some electroplates up there. Now, this is kind of a decent situation for him to be in. One of the things that I'm finding with this bot is it's less important for me to duck to cover when I'm not shooting, because I can take so much punishment. I have to be careful about not losing all of my guns, because if I'm not using cover and I am losing all of my guns, then that's kind of silly on my part. But at the same time, it makes it easier to keep the guns busy when you're not worried about you know, taking damage as much as you might be in a less robust bot. Now, you're actually going to see in a couple seconds here, I'm going to take out 2 bots, one after the other. One shot kill, another shot kill. That's actually kind of fun, because as a plasma bot, the damage is so inconsistent. It's so easy to hit very well and do very little damage because you caught mostly electroplate or something else like that. But in this case, there goes one, and then another one is going to follow shortly after, so you get another shot. It's all in good fun. A lot of good fun when you get 2 kills and 2 shots. But realistically, this is kind of like everyone's all clustered in this one spot shooting at one another, and it's very, very difficult for people to pick out me as a substantial threat because we've got all kinds of stuff in front of them. So I'm sitting in the back doing my best to put as much damage on the bad guys as I possibly can while they don't really know that I'm there. And then if I have to relocate, then I do that. But we get to this point here where there's one enemy bot left, and I want to get down there and see if I can't contribute to the kill, but got a medic in the way. It's not necessarily his fault. He's just there trying to do his thing. The Megabot can't do much. He can't come down here. And I didn't get down there in time. I literally, by a fraction of a second, missed my opportunity to get at least assist credit on that bot. And then I spawned as a Megabot for no reason. I didn't really. I spawned inside a Megabot, and I'm going to be honest with you, and you can either hate me or laugh with me. I was kind of hoping that when the match started and everything came to life and the physics kicked in, that he was going to flip way up in the air and land on his back or something stupid like that, because he was in the same spot as me. The one thing that I did notice about this bot is that as long as I'm not too badly damaged, I've got so much weight below the hovers that I'm like the Weeble. I wobble, but I never fall down. Sometimes I have to just stop moving just to get the wobbling under control. If I you know, fling myself off a cliff or something. But I never really have problems with getting flipped upside down in this bot, just because of where the weight is relative to the hover blade. So that's a lot of good fun. Now this match, I'm trying to get shots in through that little hole there, and I got the sweet spot, and I was so happy because this is such a fun spot to be at. Shooting at the enemy because they insist on peeking out of that valley, and just basically go until they're all so afraid to peek out of the valley anymore that they don't really, you know, present any more targets, and then I can advance and try and help my teammates. It works because it puts pressure on the enemy. They don't feel like they can go where they want to go, and then they're kind of just they're locked in this indecision. They don't know where to go. Should they completely reverse and try a new lane? Should they sit and wait for us to stick our necks out and shoot at us when we kind of get in their line of fire, or, you know, the unknown option 3 that sometimes they actually manage to pull off. You never know. You don't know what the hell just happened. You just know that they broke out of the little valley. So here is, again, the same thing. Is there's a bunch of them all clustered in one sort of line. As long as I fire in a certain direction, I'm guaranteed to hit at least 1 or 2 bots. I love those things because that's where I rack up the RP, or the CPU damage that translates to RP after the matches, you know, provided we win, because if you lose you don't get jack. And then I heard the fire and I looked off to the right and I saw one of my guys fighting another enemy guy. It's entirely possible that our guy could have killed that guy without any difficulty, but it's better for the team if he takes the least amount of damage possible. So firing over and helping him with the guy that he was fighting is a good thing to do. There's no one-on-one duels in the middle of a team affair. That's just stupid thinking. If you can help out a teammate in a way that allows them to reduce the amount of damage that they take, someone gets a kill credit, someone gets an assist credit, everyone wins. It's a win-win situation for your team. Looking at it saying, oh, he's locked in one-on-one honorable combat, we have to let him continue on his own. It's... come on. That's just silly. Look at that flopping all over the place. And not over on my back. Just all over the place with the wobbling, but not flopped on my back. So this will be the last match for today. Normally I only do 4 matches, but I was having so much fun, quite frankly, that I lost track, and I shouldn't have. I should have shut it down after 4. This is an example of what happens when a megabot, again, and I'm not, it's not like I'm trying to criticize players because they choose to play megabots. I'm criticizing the system that creates this impetus amongst players to follow megabots, because now you're basically putting all of the decision making in the hands of one person. If you don't follow the megabots, bad things tend to happen, as you're going to see to me. Right here, I'm working a little bit of anti-flanking. I'm keeping an eye on whatever comes around the corner through this tunnel, until such time as it's obvious that the enemy has been kind of lit, we know where they are, and I can relocate to somewhere more useful if necessary. Our entire team has gone down through the valley and back up the other hill. Now look at as soon as I come around this little mountain here and kind of look over across the bridge, you're going to see all kinds of enemy bots that were in position to spot our team as they were going through that hill. Not only that, but there's the enemy megabot coming over the middle. So this is not a good situation. Do I need to even say that? I mean, I'm taking some pretty heavy hits, I'm taking some good damage, but again, this bot is just a little savage when it comes to soaking damage. That railgunner is going to regret not moving. I just know it. And I've been sitting around doing the anti-flank and then fighting the megabot for so long, and I decided I'd try and get a shot onto something that would matter, and, you know, hit this guy. Did a little bit of damage, but not as much as I would have liked. I'm trying to get over to our guys with the medics, because I'm not in very good shape, and I'm not going to be in very good shape if I don't get to the medics pretty soon. See, the problem is that if you're going to go around to flank, the flanking has to actually work. You actually have to be aggressive, but we're not. We've got a medic circle jerk going on down here. We've got the enemies hiding on one side of the mountain and our guys hiding on the other. In the meantime, the enemy megabot is basically pushing through wherever the hell he wants, because our guys decided to bypass him. The thing is, when you come around the corner and you see enemy hovers peeking over the area where your teammates just passed through, it's a pretty safe bet that the entire friendly team that just passed through has been lit. The enemy knows where they are. You're not fooling anyone by trying to flank, and then as you can see, there's our megabot completely stalled. He's not doing much of anything. He's got eye stalks for gun mounts. There goes a gun. The other gun is going to go as soon as the enemy decides they want to aim for it. There's the other gun gone. And now he's sitting there not able to contribute anything. And this whole idea of pushing around in Megabots, you know, leading the charge against Megabots and then everyone else rushing support, the enemy Megabot is doing whatever the hell he wants at this point. In fact, he actually turns around and comes back over the bridge and meets up with us because there was nobody else on the other side for him to fight. They completely bypassed each other and they completely botched the flank. And that's kind of the sad thing about this, is that they were in a good position to push around and engage with aggression, and they chose instead to stick with the circle jerk and hide behind the mountain. There's not much you can do in those kinds of situations when people insist on playing like that. All you can do is really try and make smart decisions of your own. Make the difference, you know, make the differentiation between good decisions and bad decisions based on what the other players on your team are doing. Because it's very easy when other people make bad decisions to make bad decisions of your own in response. The idea really is to try and make the smartest decisions possible. In my case, it's kind of hanging back, laying down as much supporting fire as I possibly can, and not leaving myself in the line of fire because our medics are already overtaxed. Even losing guns is something that I want to avoid. So this is a case where I'm, you know, trying not to put myself in a position where the enemy is going to have easy shots at me until I realize that I'm the last bot standing. What can you do? Next episode is going to be the build for the revamped helicopter SMG that we built. It's actually done, it's built, I love it. It looks fantastic, and I can't wait to get it into some matches. We're going to show you how we built it. In the episodes following, we're going to show you how it kills stuff, and then we're going to get on to some other videos. All kinds of crazy stuff. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.